Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here. I'm Ariel.
I'm Shya.
And today's episode is
Effortless
full
engagement.
And yes, we do finish each other's sentences. In a simple breath, you can be effortlessly, fully engaged in your life. Now, part of that requires being willing to let go of what isn't and engage in what is.
And what will support you in that is listening, where you truly listen to hear what another person has to say and how not have to comment on it in your thoughts, not have to see whether you agree or disagree or believe it to be true, but just allow it to be okay being another person's point of view. If you can do that, you'll get pulled into the current moment of your life, and transformation is effortless when you're here for it.
As Shai was speaking, I just breathed a breath, 2, 3. And then what he had to say is new and interesting and centering, and it's effortless.
See, our approach is not about doing your life right. It's not about a do. So you don't have to do anything. And of course, you have to breathe because otherwise you don't stick around.
But breathing wants to happen.
But breathing wants to happen on its own.
Last night Shia sniffed and he inhaled some snot and it went down the wrong windpipe. And I got to tell you, I woke up to him coughing because he, you know how that is when you inhale spit or something like that. Breathing really wanted to happen all on its own. It's not something you need to worry about.
In any event, it's not about doing your life right. It's about being here for your life. And that happens when you get into the current moment. But most of the time is spent in your thoughts about the future or the past. And rarely, if ever, do you stop over in this moment of now. You're off to the next future or back to the last past. In any event, you can agree or disagree with what I just said, or you could hear it. See, agreeing and disagreeing only compares what's being said to what you already believe to be the truth. I was going to say already know, but I'm not sure that what you believe to be true is. I'm not sure that what any of us believe to be true is. But if you use your eyes and your ears, you'll see what's true for you. That's simple.
That's a great place to start.
Yeah.
Shall we take our first guest?
Oh, let's.
All right, Anina.
Anina.
Welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hello, I'm Anina, and I'm zooming in from Thun, Switzerland.
Thun, Switzerland.
Nice. Yes. Nice to hear you. Nice to have you here.
Yes.
Yes. I don't really have a question about effortless, but when you were talking about breathing wants to happen, I remembered something from this morning. I had tennis lesson this morning, and among other things, we practiced serving. And serving is quite a multifaceted movement for the body. I have to throw up the ball, and then I have to hit the ball at the right place in the right way, and so on and so on. And sometimes I have a hard time because I keep thinking about how to do it.
Well, let me stop you there because that's so perfect. Now, do you have to think about how to walk?
No.
No. You can walk. If I would ask you to tell me how it is that you walk, could you tell me?
Only in a very theoretical way.
Yes, but not in a way that I could then, by following your instructions, walk.
No, no.
Well, it's the same thing with serving a tennis ball.
Now I know you're learning. So in the learning, you have a tendency to want to talk to yourself to reinforce or to practice what you are in the midst of learning.
But you also hold in your tennis practice that you are a beginner and that you're learning how, rather than you are a tennis player. See,
Yes.
so you're not just playing tennis, you're talking to yourself about it all the time.
Yes.
You
And
know,
this
I
morning, yeah, go on, Shine.
I am a fly fisherman. You know, I use a fly rod.
Yes,
I've done it for many years now. And I am really clear that I am not learning how to be a fly fisherman. I know. However, that doesn't mean I don't learn things as I discover something new about the sport. But it's not like I have to think about how to cast a fly rod anymore. I just do it. You can just serve a tennis ball.
See the ball, hit the ball.
That's right. Throw the ball up, see the ball, keep your eye on the ball, and hit the ball.
yeah.
I don't even play tennis.
What were you going to say about this morning?
This morning, I noticed that I was going down the road when I was talking to myself and analyzing and stuff. And then I started trusting my body. I told it, I know, trusting my body.
Yes.
You know how this works. Just do it. And that worked like wonders. And then I fell out of it and started thinking again. And so,
Well, let me stop you again.
yes,
Because you see, when you told you that you could trust your body, you were thinking then too.
yes,
See, that you are giving yourself instructions or telling yourself you know how to do this. That's all thinking about trying to make something happen in the future rather than allowing yourself to toss the ball up, see the ball, and swing your racket at it.
yes,
And I know you have to hit it just right to get it to go over the net. I know that, but you also have to develop an ability to see the ball, because that's critical. And you get this eye-hand coordination going where you can hit the ball and then you can adjust where it goes.
Again, like Shia, I don't play tennis. My sport is fly fishing. But I'm very familiar with the commentary that can come along. It gives me instructions when my cast doesn't go, quote, perfectly. So, for instance, if you're throwing up the ball, you're extending your racket, you hit, and you realize that you're hitting your racket so that it's angling the ball in a downward trajectory and it strikes the net rather than goes over the net. You've already seen that. But then the commentary wants to go, oh, that was a downward trajectory. I hit the net. I need to do it more flat. It has a whole extra commentary on what you've already learned and seen and know.
yes, yes,
And for me, when I do a similar thing, but only with fly fishing, when I'm talking to myself, it almost always, the next cast is then out of sync also, because I'm trying to
Do it right.
work on things or do it right. So it's
yeah,
going to be a really fun balancing act as you learn.
yes,
Well, sometimes when I make a cast, it goes down towards the water more than I would like. So I just have to remind myself to follow how it goes the next time. But thinking about and telling myself to do it differently, I notice I never really do it differently when I tell myself to do it differently.
that's so true.
See? When
Yes,
you tell yourself to do it differently, you don't follow that instruction.
yes.
So it's really a matter of looking and seeing what's wanted and needed and providing that. But it's really definitely an I thing where
Yeah.
you see what you need to do, not talk to yourself about what you need to do, but just see it. That's
Hmm.
enough.
That that's so true. That's so true.
You know, I
Yeah.
know I'm prone to finishing people's sentences, but uh, uh, when you began speaking, Anina, and you were talking about serving and it's multifaceted action and how you need to throw the ball up and you need to position your racket in a way. And then you said something to the effect of, and I filled in with, forget to breathe. I wouldn't be surprised if in your effort, because as you were demonstrating it, I felt like I could see you and you were on the court and you were making this action and you were doing it. That it's almost like you hold your breath and hope you get it right. That there's no, uh, it's like you forget that part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And when I leave myself alone, it it kind of, as you said before about breath, it wants to happen on its own.
Mhm.
It's like a
Yes.
one easy thing.
Yeah, when you don't try, you
Mhm.
probably serve quite well. It's
Mhm.
when you're trying to do it right. And it's kind of
That's so
analogous
analogous
to
of life.
life, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
When you try to do it right, it doesn't always achieve what
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, if a serve comes really nice and hits the court in the right spot, I get so busy with complimenting myself that the next one is sure not to be as good. So,
But see, that's the same thing
Complimenting yourself and chastising yourself,
are the same coin.
yeah, the flip side of the same coin.
Yeah. Plus, your mind wants to take credit for everything. And it's going to blame you for everything. So, like, wow, that was really great. Or, oh man, you really did that bad, you know?
yes,
Well, I notice when I make a cast and it's a good cast, I go, that was a nice cast. And I just leave it at that
yes.
rather than, oh, I got to do that again. You're
Mhm.
going to comment. Your mind comments that you listen to it as though it's the only voice in the universe. That's on you.
Yes. Yes.
Sweet.
The other thing is that voice always and only wants to be right. So it's not just about seeing how you serve a tennis ball. It's about a complaint about you is always embedded in it, even if you do a good serve.
Yeah.
Do you see
Yeah.
that? How there's
Yes.
always these
I see
complaints
that.
about. So I would not.
Yeah. You mean like if it says to her, oh, that was a good one? It's like that was a good one as opposed to all those other ones.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I get that. I've been prone to that. Hmm.
Yes. Yes. That's also that part with comparison kills, as you often say. It kills also when I compare my one serve to my other serve.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there's also comparing where you think you should be by now. You know, I don't know anybody who plays something like tennis who doesn't want to improve or have their skills uh, get better, or in the case of the game, you want to win. You probably wouldn't enjoy going out if you played somebody who was at your skill level and lost every time. Of
Yeah.
course. So
That's true.
yeah.
And you know, you are allowed to be competitive.
Thank you. Yes.
Because in your belief system, being competitive is a bad thing.
Oh, no, after you.
That's
No,
right.
after you.
You got me here, Shya. That's so true.
Mm,
Yeah.
Really a
Well,
treat.
if you don't want to be competitive, take up knitting.
Oh, I'm
I do that already.
sure you can competitively knit.
Sure. Oh, yes.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, you've moved on to this stitch or that
Yes.
stitch.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
thanks for calling in today and for just
Being you.
being you and sharing your light with everybody. It's a treat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, you want to hear about transformation?
Mhm.
We've got one of our listeners about to tell you about what's happened in their life out of listening to Being Here.
Mm.
Hi, this is Corrine from Long Branch, New Jersey. And I would just like to say how much I enjoy doing transformational seminars and also listening to the podcast. I frequently find that I'll tune in to, let's say, a podcast, and within minutes, I feel differently. And I end up, when I'm done listening, just feeling lighter and brighter and genuinely great. So I really enjoy them, and I hope you do too.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We are doing a couple of 2-hour Living Made Easy seminars coming up this Saturday and also next Monday evening. You're invited. Our 1-day and weekend seminars.
Well, is in Hamburg, Germany, the Freedom to Breathe, and that's on April 18th. That's a Thursday. Then Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, we're doing Simplicity, and that is a interesting course.
What makes it interesting?
Well, simplicity is hard to discover in a complex world. Our lives have gotten so complex. Our technology is so complex that to simply do something and be there for it is a rarity. You're usually moving on to the next thing before you finish the last thing.
Yeah, I imagine in a certain respect, that's what Anina was talking about in that the move to serve is complex.
Yes,
But when you're there, there's a simplicity to it. See the ball, hit the
exactly.
ball.
Exactly.
So I'm excited for that exploration. We're happy to be heading back to Hamburg, Germany. It's a really sweet, sweet place to do courses.
And then we're doing
A virtual weekend in
called,
June.
yes, it's called Magical Relationships.
So if you would like to join us for any of those, all of those,
That's
or
June-
find out more,
June 8th and 9th, to be precise.
then you can find out about that on our website, transformationmadeeasy.com. And then last but not least,
Costa Rica 2025
the
is open.
instantaneous transformation adventure into the magic of being you. Very simple, very profound. The early registration discount deadline is to register and pay your first deposit by May 1st. So we're just giving you a heads up in case you want to join us.
That first deposit is 1/3 of
One
the
third of
total.
You can come for 1 week or 2. Again, transformation made easy.
.com.
Let's take our next guest.
Yes, Sandy.
Hi,
Oh, hi, this is Sandy from Munich in Germany.
welcome to being here.
Hi. It's so cool listening to you guys and also hearing the conversation with Anina just now. Found myself laughing out loud. It was really great. But just before coming here this evening or today, I had this encounter with a lady who was a little bit snippish with me, and I found myself thinking, what did I do to make her, what? And then I started thinking, and I was noticed, oh, I'm not here anymore. And then I knew I was going to call in. So I was like, okay, take a breath, have it be effortless. And then it was effortless for a few seconds. And then I went back to, so I get this, when that happens, I get so tight in myself and I'm like, what did I do?
Let's slow things down a little bit. The first principle of instantaneous transformation is whatever you resist, and you resisted that snippish lady,
Yeah.
persists, grows stronger, and dominates your life. So here we are. How many hours later?
1.5.
1.5 hours later, and you're still chewing over this lady.
Yeah.
Could have said and should have said, or should have done, or what did I do
Or
to
why,
generate that? Why me?
why?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
So, that's okay. Look, if somebody's not nice, it arouses in you a fight or flight
Reaction.
response.
Mhm.
Yeah. Where you're driven to protect yourself because it's a threat to your survival. It's also, because it's a threat to your survival, an upsetting circumstance. It's upsetting when somebody starts yelling at you, apparently for no reason.
Well, she didn't yell, but her reaction was just very annoyed with me.
Well,
But
I pretty well guarantee you her reaction to her life is she's pretty well annoyed with her life.
yeah, that's true.
So you can blame it on you, or you can include it as part of the way it is.
Exactly. And that's
And
yeah.
this is not a transformed world, Sandy. People are upset. They always blame the upset on circumstances that they think cause the upset, but it's never the circumstances that cause the upset.
Mhm.
It's being upset. So I would venture to guess that there's been something upsetting going on in your life prior to this interaction.
Huh.
Oh, you smiled.
I did. I'm like, I know, because when you say these things, they're always true. And so I'm like,
They're always true. You see, then you give me too much power over you.
okay, well, it's always worth looking at what
Yes.
That is
you
true.
offer. It's always worth. So that's why I'm very happy that you said that.
Well, I sometimes look at it both ways, Sandy. First of all, you are not the center of the universe, as in, if that person is having a bad day or a bad life,
It's not your
you didn't
fault.
cause that.
Right.
However, I have seen that when I'm somehow off center, either I'm trying to get somewhere or I'm preoccupied, I'm more likely to evoke from a person who's upset to aim their expression of upset at me.
Mhm.
So that when Shya says that perhaps this interaction happened because you were already somehow upset or off center,
Well,
my experience for me is that is likely and often the case.
but if that is the case, that doesn't mean anything bad about you.
And you don't even have to go back and analyze it.
It's just that when you get upset with a circumstantial event, you're already upset. Otherwise, it's just a circumstantial event that you then deal with. But if you're upset, it becomes a generator or a good excuse to express that upset.
Mhm.
And that's what we usually do.
Yeah, and I'm seeing it now because this is I see this woman regularly. And so I think I was already trying to compensate for her bad mood last time and being over cheerful. I don't know, whatever, but I'm carrying that on instead of dropping it.
Yeah.
And you know, when you do that, you actually require them to be like they were before because you have that expectation, even if you're trying to not produce that.
Whoa, cool. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Well, if you're resisting something, it gets produced. So see, here's the thing. You judge this woman
Yep.
and you judge her in your thoughts, whether you say it out loud or not.
True.
And people feel judgments. You know when somebody's judging you, especially when they're judging you in a negative way. If they're thinking how beautiful you are, you may judge them and think they're wrong for having that concept because, you know, they don't really know.
It's very funny. This could be actually the whole circle because she is very beautiful. And I've thought that. And then at one point, like she flipped. Yeah, but I get it. It's I believe that it is up to me to let it go. And then if she's snippish again, that's her thing, right?
Yeah, but you see, the thing is this, you expect her to be snippish. You do not expect her to be kind, gentle, and friendly.
You know, you're still trying to make a plan for the future to avoid what you were comfortable with in the past.
And so you're
So
bound
thank
to
you so
recreate
much for
that.
demonstrating that. That was really
Yeah, well
fun.
done. See, you recreate what you say you don't want because resistance to it produces it.
Okay. I
Then
see
there's
that, yeah.
a fellow in Costa Rica who's behind the desk who tends to who works there in reception, who tends to turn everything into a drama. And if I'm trying to get somewhere or if I'm irritatable, I find him extremely irritating. And then it's really been up to me to let go of
Your judgments.
my judgments and be with the magnificence of that human being. And when I am, he behaves
Just
totally
wonderfully.
differently. He is a very, very sensitive human being. And if I'm
Unkind in her
unkind in
thoughts.
my thoughts or somehow disrespectful in my way of being, he really
Makes you pay.
makes me pay. So he's an incredible puzzle piece in my life for how to be present.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you saw it that way.
Yeah.
See,
Great.
it's all an opportunity. Life is an opportunity. How somebody is an opportunity for you to discover how you can not have to resist them being themselves.
Mhm. Mm.
I have one other thing that's probably just going to mess you up like crazy.
Okay.
I have found that I dislike in other people the thing I am intolerant of in myself.
Mhm.
Now, this is an audio, and see Sandy's face.
She looked like
But
she
she's
sucked a lemon.
That's right. We saw what her response was to that.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah.
Really? You know, so if you look out there and they're
See,
bothering
see,
you,
see.
I always find that really fun.
It's about you being kind to you, Sandy. Really, it's about you being kind to you. That you're perfect exactly as you are. You don't need to improve anything. You're fine. And so are they. The other thing is this, you can't help but be the way you are in this moment, can you?
No.
Getting upset with how they're being is really a volitional act on your part. Or actually, it's not really volitional. It's automatic, it's mechanical. And volitionally, you can override that. You know, you get the rush, but then you don't have to do something with it.
Mhm. I like that. Yeah, I think, yeah,
Right.
I don't think I need to comment that. I'm excited to see you guys personally soon in Hamburg.
There's a number of folks from the United States coming over
With,
to
not
Germany
with
as
us,
well.
but with us. You know, they're
Yeah.
flying on their own. It's not as a group, but
It's an inspirational enough event and topic and possibility to get together with people in this community. And I just want to say also to the listeners, we've had plenty of people show up at in-person seminars who found us through our podcasts. And they didn't necessarily, and many times didn't come to one of the 2-hour seminars. They just leapt in. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's you and you have an inclination to come.
please do join us.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll be there.
And if you have an inclination not to come, please don't.
Yeah, we really, in a way, Sandy, that was the last thing I wanted to say is, there are certain people who you are not that you're gonna have to have snippy exchanges with people all the time, but some people just aren't a mesh with you. And then the game is to find out how to have it be a satisfying exchange, but not
Well-
everybody's going to be a close friend of yours.
Well, the thing is this, you can allow see, when you judge somebody in your thoughts, they feel it, they know it, and they resent you for it.
Right.
When you allow a person to be okay being them with their own little idiosyncrasies, the way they are, if they're not threatening you, you don't have to complain to yourself about them being wrong for being them. And then if you just see them the way they are without judging them, they can become okay being them because you're having them be okay in your experience being them.
It's so cool listening to you talk just now. I have a complete different feeling towards her. It's as if she were here, and it's like, yeah,
See, here's the thing. She can't help herself and she's in pain. And that's why she's doing what she's doing or behaving the way she behaves. If she were well in herself, the need to be snippy isn't there. But you take a little dog that's
Mhm.
snippy, to your words, that's because they feel insecure and threatened and scared. And so this lady may be beautiful physically, but if she's insecure, then she's going to be thinking that people are constantly thinking bad things about her, just the way she is.
As you're talking, Chai, I recall my earliest days working as an assistant or a receptionist at a chiropractor's office. And the clients would come in, and some of them were just really unkind, snippy, they would take their day out on me. If the doctor was running late, they would yell at me. And I realized it was interesting how when they got out of pain, they stopped behaving that way toward me. And it was really my job to not personalize when they were expressing themselves in a painful manner. And I was it was kind of like a little slice of life where I was just observing how people shifted when they no longer hurt. So when you're talking about this lady being in pain of whatever kind.
You see, but most people are in pain of whatever kind. Most people have the idea that life should show up to meet their preferences, and it rarely, if ever, does.
And I bet you there are times where you get snippish with yourself, with your husband, with the environment around you, and you really, really disapprove when that happens.
it's true. Yeah.
Anything you see
Without judging
completes itself.
in an instant.
After we recorded last week's episode, You Are a Genius. We had a couple of really lovely guests. What was repeating, what for me after we ended it, was the definition of awareness. And awareness in our definition is a non-judgmental seeing of what is. And awareness is enough. It's just enough.
But when you resist what you see, you stick it in place. See, if life shows up and you allow it to be the way it is, there's no resistance to that. So it completes itself and moves on.
And I love what you said. It was so textbook, Sandy, that you went and you saw this lady. She was snippish last time. You didn't enjoy what you felt, and you came with a strategy for how to make it better. That's what we do. That is just textbook what we've learned, how to take care of our environment. And we're not really trained to step in and see who's there newly, like we've never met them. There's that expectation of, oh God, here we go. And it does not allow for new possibility.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I don't know if you as a listener have subscribed yet to this podcast, but please, if you'd like to, you can subscribe to it on any of your favorite podcast apps, and you can also share it with your friends. And also, feel free to subscribe to our newsletter. It comes out and gives you all sorts of wonderful blogs and videos and information about what we're up to, and also about folks in this community. You can find all of our courses and the newsletter sign up at transformationmadeeasy.com. Next week's podcast is Fun Factor. We'll be back next week.
And we'll discover then what fun factor is.
We'll be back, so
come on back
and don't miss
being.